You know, winter and springtime are great times for birding. You have all the migratory birds that have come from the north have come back down south. You have all the birds that are now in the springtime beginning to move from the south and heading back up north. It's just a great, great time. But what happens when the sun goes down? Is there anything to do during this time of year when the sun goes down? You bet there is. It's called frogging. Come on, I'll show you what I mean. So, what do I mean by frogging? Well, that's easy. Frogging is just like birding, only it's for frogs. The problem is that as soon as you try to get out in the middle of a swamp, in the middle of a wet area, a creek area, it's going to be wet. The frogs are going to be calling. You're slugging around, sloshing through the water in the dark, trying to shine a flashlight, looking for eye sign. And as soon as you get close to those frogs, they just go dark. They go under the water, no more eye shine. They stop calling. It's really, really hard. So really the only way to go about doing it is to learn their calls. And that's what this video is about. In this video, I have 16 frog calls of some of the more common frogs of the southeastern United States. This is just to whet your appetite and get you started in the world of frogs. All right, so here's my list of the 16 most common, or maybe not the most common, but at least some of them the loudest frogs of the southeastern United States. Frog number 1, the southern cricket frog. Basically this frog, real common. There's a northern variety, there's some other varieties around. Basically they sound, if you imagine holding a bag full of marbles and kind of rattling or banging those marbles together, that's really what their call is. It's a consistent, like banging two rocks together, like this. Gick, 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 gick. Frog number 2. It is the little grass frog. It's actually the smallest of the true frogs here in North America. I'm pretty sure. I believe that's true. And these guys, their call, they're going to be calling at night from like grass that's growing out of marshy areas, wet meadows. And these guys sound a really high-pitched, little short trill, almost reminiscent of an insect. Like, creak, 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 creak. Number 3, the spring peeper. Spring peepers are all up and down the United States. But here in the South, you can recognize them because they are, again, very high pitched, but a very clear whistle. And it is loud. I mean, you can hear it. I would not doubt if you could hear this thing a half mile away. It's this really high pitched whistle like this. Number 4, the mountain chorus frog. Now there's several different types of chorus frogs around the United States. The mountain chorus frog has a very distinct, very fast trill, almost just like he's saying the word reek. So he says it, and it's very nasally too. So he'll go like reek, 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 reek. Number 5, the upland chorus frog. Very closely related, Both of those frogs are going to be in these temporary spring pools here in the southeast. The upland, however, sounds more like you're dragging your thumb across the teeth of a comb. And it kind of goes, I don't know, a very rising, kind of a slower trill, like beep, 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 kind of like that. Frog number 6. This is the Fowler's toad. The Fowler's toad is a real common toad around the Alabama area. And it has kind of a high-pitched nasally, almost like he's saying the word whir. And he goes like this. Number 7. This toad is the American toad. Very similar to the Fowlers in the same area, but it has a lower pitched, longer trill, like this. Running out of breath. Kind of like that. It just keeps going. Number 8 on the list. Number 8 is the oak toad. Oak toad is this little, tiny little dinky toad, probably the smallest toad in North America, at least in the southeast for sure. Has a little yellow line down his back, little orange spots. It's so cute. Anyway, but it's this little tiny toad, and he has this little bird-like voice. Frog number 9. This is the narrow-mouth toad. A little tiny thing, fat body, pointy nose, just real dinky. But they have this obnoxious whine that they do. They're like, wee, wee, wee. Almost like it's a little tiny baby sheep that's stuck in the middle of a swamp. Wee. Number 10, the squirrel tree frog. These frogs, I used to call them the rain frog, because inevitably down in Florida, they'd be sitting up in the palmettos, and like 15 minutes before it rains, they would start sounding off, almost like a duck, a little tiny baby duck, that big, sitting in the top of a palmetto tree. They're going, wink, 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 wink. Number 11, this is the green tree frog. Very similar in appearance to the squirrel tree frog, little bit bigger and a longer white stripe down its side. But the squirrel tree frog, it has a great voice. It says the word quank. Isn't it? It's like it goes quank, 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 quank. And when there's a group of them, it is almost deafening. Number 12. 12 is the bullfrog. Bullfrog, this is one of the largest frogs here, especially in the southeastern United States. It is an amazing frog. The bullfrog, I like to call it the Pirates of the Caribbean frog, because they're always singing about their jug of rum. Jug of rum, jug of rum, jug of rum, jug of rum. Number 13. This is the pig frog, and it's called the pig frog because that's exactly what it sounds like. Imagine you have a frog, imagine you have a pig that's rooting around somewhere in the mud in a swamp. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's this very, very low pitched kind of a brr, 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 brr. Number 14. 14 is the green frog. In many areas, it's known as the bronze frog. There's different color phases of it. But this one actually sounds like, the nickname of it anyway, is the banjo frog, because its call sounds like you're plucking the string of an out-of-tune banjo. It kind of goes, bing, 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 bing. Number 15. Number 15 is one of my favorite frogs. It's the southern leopard frog. Now the southern leopard frog, it has two different calls. The first call is one, how do I describe it? It's like, imagine an absolutely insane, crazy person laughing maniacally. It's like, it kind of goes like this. First time I heard that, I was in the middle of the night, in the dark, in the middle of a swamp, and oh, it messed with me. I did not like that time. The second call is a little bit tamer. It's almost like someone's chewing on a mouthful of rubber bands. It kind of goes, kind of like that. That's a horrible imitation, but that's the best I can do. Last and final frog, number 16. 16 is the pine woods frog. Now the pine woods frog, its nickname is the Morse code frog. And the reason it's called the Morse code frog is that is what its call sounds like. It kind of starts off kind of stuttering, and then it builds up speed toward the end. It goes like kick, 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 kick. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I hope this has inspired you to head out at night, especially after a rain or even during a rain, if you're brave enough. Get out there. How many frogs can you hear in the area around where you live? At my property here in Alabama, I've actually recorded over 11 different species on my property alone. That is just amazing. I love frogs so much. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, please like and subscribe. Share this with others. I would really appreciate that. I'm Gregg Thompson, and I'll see you on the trail.